Hi, I'm Philip Brunton, and I welcome you to Jazz Plate lesson number 5. Now, I remind you to download your accompanying worksheet found at MyMusicPB.com/jazzplate. Last week we learned the minor 7 chord. Now this week, if the third is a major third, along with that minor 7th sound, we get a dominant 7th chord, our new chord, and you'll see that just shown with an uppercase letter for a major triad chord, and then the 7th represents a minor 7th interval on the top. We have a major triad, and then the 7th is added. Now, it's an unstable chord because the 3rd and the 7th create this tritone sound. It's exactly in the middle between an octave. It's also 3 whole tones. So this unstable chord wants to resolve to here. Okay, so that's our dominant 7th. We're going to start with our warm-up this week. It's like we've done in the past with our major thirds, but this time over a dominant 7th chord. In the past, we put 2 bars together and it creates the first 6 notes of a major scale. If you add some more notes there, you get the first full octave of what's called a Mixolydian scale. And a Mixolydian scale is what you'll eventually be using on your dominant 7 chords. So, let's have a tuning note, concert A, 440. And one more. So let's get started with our warm-up. Okay, warm-up. To exercise number 1, where we outline the dominant 7th chords. Now they're called the dominant 7th because they're created from the 5th note of a key, which is called a dominant. Okay, exercise number 1. I play, you're listening to that new sound, and then you play back. Exercise number 1. And repeat. Stop. Okay, exercise number 2 without the gaps. Exercise number 3, we're outlining the dominant 7ths, now with a cycle of 5ths. And this is usually the progression these dominant 7ths tend to take. Exercise number 3. Okay, now let's have a little bit of theory here with our dominant 7th. Page 2, we can see our dominant 7th chord on the top, and then a scale based on it. And this scale is called a Mixolydian scale. We'll be using these scales a little later, but just to show you, a Mixolydian is a major scale built from the 5th note. Okay, so if we play the chord, you'll hear each note in relation to it. Obviously the chord sounds great, the root. The 9th is a lovely sound. 3rd. Now the 4th. It's conflicting with that 3rd. Okay, so because it's so close to that major 3rd we need, it's an avoidance note. And then we have the 5th. Now the 6th and 7th chord. You'll notice they're a semitone apart, but they're okay if you listen how the chord works. And the 6th will be, it's a lovely sound. Quite bright, and then the 7th, of course, we have the 7th. The 2 together sound horrible, but on its own, so that's okay. And as a result, that allows us to play the pentatonic scale with ease. And we have the major pentatonic showing there, and the same notes as the minor pentatonic. So all those notes fit. Now some people like to take the pentatonic and exchange the 6th for the 7th. When they're playing over dominant 7ths. So we'll keep it simple with this. We'll just keep with the major pentatonic scale, which is the same notes as the minor pentatonic, the relative minor pentatonic. And because of the same notes, what we're going to do is, last week we had a minor pentatonic pattern. We're going to review that pentatonic again. These pentatonic patterns, you're just working out through the inversions of each one, even though it starts on the minor based inversion, all the same notes. So I'm going to put a dominant 7th chord over each one. So this is a great revision for us from last week. We'll be using these all the time, and they'll be helpful for what we're about to learn next. So let's have a listen to these pentatonic patterns, build these up, get really comfortable if you can start memorizing these. Pentatonic patterns. that's a real workout. It can be rather tiring. So if you find you could always play along with me the odd numbers and then return back and go back to the even lines. You could play without the backing track, build up your tempo, but eventually it's useful to learn these. So if you didn't practice them in the last lesson, start practicing for this lesson. So now that we have our dominant sevenths, it's a great way to segue into the blues. Now the blues is our roots of our jazz improvisation. So it's the foundation. It's really important to develop the blues playing. So in the simplest form, the blues is made up of 3 different dominant sevenths chords. The first dominant seventh based on the key. So in this example, concert pitch, I will say we're in the key of F blues. So our first one would be an F7 chord. And then we have one based on the 4th. So you go F, G, A, B flat 7. So then we have on the 5th, we have the F, G, A, B flat, and C. So we have C7. So we have our F7, B flat 7, and C7 chords. Now from those dominant sevenths, just like the pentatonic having a scale that works over everything, we have what's called a blues scale. It's a great way to start ourselves off with our blues playing. And it's based on a minor pentatonic. So just like a pentatonic scale, which works over lots of different chords, with the blues we have a blues scale. And that's made up of a minor pentatonic, and bridged between the top and the bottom, we have this bluesy semitone sound. So I'll first play the minor bass, and the bluesy extra note. You can hear that extra tension. Now what's great about this blues scale is not that every note sounds great with every chord, because it doesn't. Sometimes you get tension and then release, and it's that tension release, it's that you're telling in your blues, it's that joy, ultimate joy and the oppression. It's the darkness and the light that you want to bring out in your scale. So you'll use those notes. You use your ear and you say, that note, I love that note. And it's not just that bluesy note. Other notes will also have an effect on each chord. So really listen out, let your ears guide you through this, and enjoy those tension and the release of it. So the actual blues progression is made up of 12 bars long. And there are 3 4-bar phrases. And I've seen it out, and I've shown it outlined here. So we have our 1 chord, and that's in the key of, if we're in the key of concert pitch F, that'll be an F7. The next phrase uses the 4 chord, and in this for 2 bars, and then the 1 chord returning. So the second phrase in the concert pitch F will be a B flat 7 for 2 bars, and then an F7 for 2 bars. And then the final phrase will be the chord based on the 5th of the scale, then the 4th, and then the 1st, again, the root. So in this concert pitch F, we'll have a C7 followed by a B flat 7 followed by an F7. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play through the blues. First and second time, I'll play 4 bars, you play 4 bars, I play 4 bars. On the second time, you'll be starting the 4 bars, I play the second phrase, you play the third phrase, and that twice through. We got through each line. And then the next 2 times after that, you'll be playing on your own. I'll just remind you where each new phrase is. Now you have an option. You can use your blues scale. You can use a bit of your pentatonic, major bass pentatonics, or minor even bass pentatonics, all the inversions. You can add some substitute patterns if you want. And the other thing you want to use it in your playing is make use of your phrase structures we talked about last week. So we have our 4 bars made up of 2 and 2, or your 4, 1, 1 and 2, or you're just 4 bars running. And that's determined by where you put your long notes and your rests. That creates great melodies. So here we go. We're going to play our improvisation over the blues. And as I say, we're going to go through 4 times. The first 2 times we're exchanging 4 bars each, and then you're on your own. I start. Back to beginning. First bar. 2, 3, line 2. 2, 3, line 3. 2, 3, line 1. 2, 3, line 2. 2, 3, line 3. 'kay. And there's your blues, concert pitch F. Now the most popular blues I found to be playing is the concert pitch F and concert pitch B flat. So I'm going to do the same thing now, concert pitch B flat. Now of course once you've got comfortable with these, then you can start learning other keys as well. So we have our 3 chords shown there, and then our blues scale, just the same way built out, from that minor bass pentatonic and that bluesy bridging note, that semitone between. Okay, so same thing. We're going to go through it twice first, you and I exchanging, and then the 3rd and 4th time you're going to on your own. Think about those 4-bar phrase structures, and just to remember that steps and skips sound much better than lots of leaps in your solos, and use a greater dynamic range, and your instrument range. Start getting into the higher notes as well. Listen up for that harmonic melodic relationship. Find those bluesy notes that you like, tension and the release, and see where takes you. Okay. 2, 3. How on your own. First line. Two, three, four. Second line. Two, three, four. Third line. Two, three. First phrase. 2, 3, 4. Second phrase. 2, 3, 4. Third phrase. 'And that's a great start for your blues. Now, what I suggest, online there are so many resources to play backing tracks. Just put in there on YouTube, backing track for blues and what key you want to play in, and just start playing. Lots of different styles, lots of different tempos. There's just so much out there you can play along with. So good luck with that, and I'll see you in lesson number 6. Bye for now.